or walking, you can get there very easily. If you're going to drive a car, it's almost impossible to get around. I used to live in Zurich. And I lived in Zurich during the time when they decided to consciously make it quite difficult for you to drive your car across town. It was very annoying, but I tell you, it was wonderful because it really freed up the city for the pedestrian again. And the ridership of the public transportation went up, and I think Zurich has the highest satisfaction rate of any city in all of Europe of the citizens who live there. Nobody wants to leave. We also design cars. It's one of the things that the Europe does, and it through its diversification over the past years. And we designed a carbon neutral car, which would be then also associated with the citizens of this community. Now it's really quite interesting because as a city, it is a plan. As we all know, cities evolve. They are living organisms. So it's a great challenge to imagine over the next 30 years how this will evolve. Because one of the things that China is, it is an amazingly vibrant place. Things happen there in weeks that would take here decades. There's a decision tree which is very short. You don't have to put things up for community approval. You can just do it. All right? This is sort of the Haussmann idea for urban renewal. But it's going to happen. And it's phenomenal what's going to happen over the next years. This isn't the only idea of a really sustainable, carbon-neutral city. There are many others who have been doing it around the world, and I encourage you to take a look at them in a constructive way. And also, as academics, as intellectuals, as practitioners, don't go shooting holes in everything you see. Try to pick out the best and then emulate the best aspects, because we need all the help we can get everywhere in the world, every city, whether it's Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Topeka, Kansas. Not to pick on Topeka, or anything like that. Unsustainable urbanization is a threat to our long-term security. The second project is BedZ. Beddington Z, zero energy design, is market rate apartments in London. This was Bill Dunster Architects with Peabody Trust, and it takes advantage of everything that we're given for free. We've gone through some surveys from BedZ, the community there, and it wasn't perfect. There are some very interesting constructive criticisms, but one of those was a complaint that the recycling bins were too small, which I thought was a wonderful, wonderful indicator that it was working. It is also a design which is a concept of systems integration. I'm not going to tell you that this would look good anywhere. It wouldn't. There are many communities who would look at this and think it's some sort of a strange spaceship. But the concept behind BedZ is systems thinking and systems integration. And getting out of the boxes and sitting together as a design team from the very beginning and setting high goals for the team. Green design is not more expensive, it's just more challenging for a team to deliver. At the end of the day, that's what this is really about, is rising to challenges. We've heard a tremendous challenge that we're facing as a planet, and now as professions, we need to rise to that challenge as well, to meet that challenge. To take this kind of systems thinking and adapt it and adopt it to each one of our geopolitical regions in the world. It doesn't matter if you're in Papua New Guinea or if you're in Tibet. The same kind of concepts can work. And I'll show you another one, which is the GAP headquarters in San Bruno in California. This again this is a commercial, a developer building. I've consciously chosen examples which are out of our normal stable of pretty sexy pictures, and showing you these two, which are just market rate. This is normal stuff. When the developer first did this, we had a lot of problems with the real estate agent, because the real estate agent said, oh, I don't know. If this is a bit unusual, don't know if you're going to be able to rent it. You know, if the GAP leaves, who's going to take it on? Well, fortunately, the GAP stayed with us. stayed through it, designed it. There's a lot of daylight, a lot of control of temperature. It's designed to be both naturally ventilated as well as mechanically. It's very flexible, and the people there love it. It's now has gone from the real estate agents saying, "Ooh, this is a bit too strange," to being one of the benchmarks in the Silicon Valley as where you should be. If you want a good office, you need to have something like this. And again, it's just simply good design. It's making good, healthy places for people to live and work. And if we do that, do what we know how to do, all of us will move about 10 steps forward and we'll start getting that factor 10. I wouldn't mind living there or working there. I guess when I say I live and work pretty much at all the same time, all of us. But wouldn't it be great to have an office where you had natural daylight, natural ventilation, anytime you wanted? It'd be fantastic. So our global context today is a very interesting one. It's a very fascinating one. And we've heard a lot about the United States, but let me tell you, when you run around the world, sadly, as much as I do, you get to see an awful lot of the manifestations of global warming, of non-sustainable design every day. And I've had the great privilege to do a whole series of workshops with just about 10,000 people around the world, asking them what they think is driving change. And in South Africa, I did 12 workshops in 14 days, and climate change came up every time in the top 5. Every single time. Climate change comes up again and again. The other thing that comes up is energy. And we already heard a little bit from Ed about energy, but you know what? There's a one-to-one relationship between an economy and energy. If you have energy, you have an economy. No energy, no economy. It's very simple. The IMF has a great graph. It's called the Energy Wealth Ladder and shows that. So if we look ahead, we know that we are going to continue to produce and consume an awful lot of energy. The question is, how do we want to use it? It's a precious resource. Where is it going to come from? If we want to use it to ship stuff all over the world, 90% of the world's transportation depends on oil. Oil we also use to make plastic. We use gas to make fertilizer. So which would you rather use it for?